The 7.1 magnitude earthquake rocking Venezuela, and separate quakes reported in California and Japan. I want to show you some of the video. We are just now getting into us. These chaotic moments on the streets of Caracas, dust filling the air after the capital there in Venezuela felt that intense shaking. You see people walking around, some of them looking confused. A baseball game coming to a halt, people running for safety. You see the light fixture up there swaying, people running for safety to the center of the field. Just hours before that, we saw a 5.6 quake hitting Northern California, knocking shelves of food to the ground. We're also following a 6.9 quake in Japan with tsunami advisories in effect there. There's a lot going on, lot to watch. We've got Bill Karen standing by. But I want to start with Aaron Gilchrist joining us now, because it seems that the most significant of these is the one that just happened late today in Venezuela. Aaron, what do we know about the...
So right now, the United States and countries from around the world are rushing desperately needed aid to hard-hit Venezuela. At least 235 people are dead and 4,300 hurt following two massive earthquakes on Wednesday. Dana Marie McNichol is live in Miami with the latest on the global response as crews in search for survivors. Hey, Dana Marie.
Hi, Lawrence. Well, that's right. The Trump administration, they acted quickly, mobilizing resources immediately, and U.S. military forces arrived last night on the ground in Venezuela to coordinate those efforts. So U.S. Southern Command, they are leading the efforts with a team on the ground with reinforcements from the USS Fort Lauderdale and the USS Billings currently heading to Venezuela. Now, these naval ships will act as a floating command center for helicopters and rescue crafts as the search for survivors continue. Now, officials say at least 235 people are dead and more than 4,300 injured after a rare back-to-back 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude quake struck Wednesday evening. Rescue crews are still searching through collapsed buildings, warning the death toll is expected to climb.
We
were at home when the earthquake struck, so we had to rush outside immediately. Escaping was a struggle because the door was jammed. We couldn't get it open at all. We had to force it open with our bare hands before finally escaping and running down the stairs. As you can see now, that area suffered severe damages. The walls collapsed. In fact, we barely made it out at the time.
And aid from around the world is pouring in, highly skilled rescue teams alongside their search dogs as well. The United Nations we spoke to yesterday says response will be global to help a community of 8 million people that was already dealing with a humanitarian crisis before the earthquake struck. And Lawrence, we're getting word that that death toll continues to climb, now at 589 souls lost in this earthquake. The Trump administration has pledged $150 million.
Shalom. I want to start with all praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Hakwadash, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to Akim pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty, and the hopeful elect constantly enduring. Shalom. My name is Kara Allah. Lawrence is quick and to the point and also edifying. We saw what happened this past week with Venezuela, the earthquakes in Venezuela, Japan, and also California, but the main one that has everyone talking is Venezuela. Okay, Venezuela got hit with I believe a 7.2 and a 7.5 earthquake. All right, and the people are, it's devastated. People are devastated, which Venezuela was already going through it. Venezuela was already catching hell, so it's the last thing they needed. But that's judgment from Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. Okay, that's how the Lord brings down judgment on the people, especially where Israel is where Israel widely populates. Okay, the Lord's gonna judge his people, man. Why? Because they're going off. They're following other gods, other traditions, okay? But they're not calling upon Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, we coming into the last days where we're going to see mass judgment, all right? It says at least 235 dead and 4,300 hurt after twin earthquakes devastate Venezuela. All right, so check that out, man. That was judgment from Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Let's go to the KJV. All right, and this is talking about Jerusalem. Okay, when you go up in the verse, it's talking about Jerusalem, the city where David dwelt. Okay, and that's you Negroes representing Israel. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? Because these heathens, they are going to be judged. They are going to be put to death. But here it is; those are heathens. Jake, we got our people, 2/3 of our people, which is the majority of our people. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, who make up the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Jacob is the progenitor. All right, Jacob is our progenitor. All right, he's our forefather. All right, so it says, "Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise." All right, and this is what you see throughout the year. You have a time, a season for a lot of rain, a lot of thunderstorms, tsunamis, hurricanes. Okay, and then you have a season, floods, right? Then you have a season for earthquakes. You have a season for wildfires. Okay, and around these times, it's always a lot of casualties, a lot of losses, right? That's the Yahweh Shem Shai getting on you people. It says, "That shall be visited the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquakes and great noise, with storms and tempests and the flame of devouring fire." Okay, and this is how you're going to be visited. So when the Lord says He's going to visit you, it's not always going to be. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be something nice. Oh, I'm getting a visit. Or when I'm getting a visit, I'm excited. No, the Lord's going to visit you and with devastation touching upon your wickedness. This is Isaiah 13 and 9 says, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the lands desolate, and He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it." Okay, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger. All right, that's how the Lord is coming. That's how the Most High is coming. The Most High ain't what's described to you in those churches, man. All right, those so-called Christian churches. The Lord is an angry, dark-skinned man. Okay, or I should say, because this is talking about the Most High Yahweh, but the Most High Yahweh is going to send His Son Yahweh Shai. Okay, a dark-skinned, angry man. Okay, it says, and the scriptures say He will not come as a man, right? Because He's going to come in His glory and all His power. It says, "For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give her light. The sun shall be darkened, and His going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine." Right, going into that destruction. Right, you don't have those mushroom clouds that even block out the sun. All right, and it speaks about the stars of heaven and the constellations, therefore shall not give their light, and the sun shall be darkened, and is going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Also going into the knowledge, to wisdom and knowledge and understanding of this place. Okay, because Esau gets his knowledge from the left-hand side, but in the time of his desolation, there's going to be so much perplexity upon this place that people ain't going to know what to do. Okay, so moving on from that. So as I mentioned earlier, through the Spirit, when we see these things, earthquakes and whatnot, it's not a light thing. It might not be as deadly, right, as past earthquakes, right? But it's still not a light thing, because the scriptures speak about earthquakes and prophecies. This is Matthew 24, start at 6 on down, says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." And we are hearing of wars and rumors of wars. This prophecy is coming to pass right now. Okay, it says, For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, right? And we're seeing it right now. Iran, Russia, China, America, Israel, right? France. It says all these, it says, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay? And that's isn't that not what we're seeing? We're seeing famines in diverse places. And not only are we seeing famines, we're seeing that it's going to be even worse famines. You know? Okay? As far as the oil price going up, causing what the food to go up. Okay, the access that people are used to is not going to be available, so it's going to lead to famines, pestilence. When we see all kinds of different pestilence, all right, a lot of STDs is going on, especially here in America, these different states, right? Why? Because our people are committing whoredom, committing adultery, right? It says, and earthquakes in diverse places. And what we're seeing also, earthquakes. Now on the news, it just had Venezuela, Cali, and Japan. Okay, so these things are all happening in diverse places. In other words, you're not going to be able to escape the judgment that's going to come upon this place. You could be living in America, you could be living in Thailand, you could be living in the West Indies, you could be living, Europe. It doesn't matter, man, because judgment is going to take place. The Lord's going to pay you a visit for your wickedness, no matter where you at. Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. I want to say all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Kapadash, the honors to the apostles, Bishop Elsewhere, Millstone, citation, I can push this word, sitting, understanding, hopeful, elect, Constantine, Dorn, Shalom.